There exists a state of being so raw, so stripped of illusion, that even cruelty trembles before it. It is not born of impulse, nor carved from mere audacity. It is the slow, deliberate erosion of fear, the kind of fear that chains the mind, that bends the spine, that makes gods out of cowards. And when that fear is gone, truly gone, what remains is not bravery, but something more ancient, more unsettling, a void, cold, silent, and absolute. This is not the fearlessness of fools who charge blindly into danger, cheering their own demise. This is the still, unreadable silence of one who has buried hesitation beside morality. The kind of silence that unnerves generals, that causes kings to question their own reflection, that turns the obedient servant into the architect behind the throne. Power does not begin with courage. It begins with indifference, the refusal to tremble, to waver, to care. What terrifies the world is not a violent man. It is the man who feels nothing, who does not blink at betrayal, who laughs in the face of loss, who watches the world burn and does not reach for water. The world cannot touch a man who has already sacrificed everything. He no longer has a price. He no longer has a pulse the world can find. You see, most people walk through life with chains they cannot see, invisible scripts telling them who they must be, what they must fear, when they must apologize. They think they are living, but they are negotiating. Every smile is a mask, every decision a plea for acceptance. But the one who kills fear, truly, without ceremony, he sees the game for what it is. And more importantly, he stops playing it. Society thrives on fear, not because it's cruel, but because it's efficient. Fear keeps workers quiet, friends loyal, lovers dependent, leaders safe. And it is all so subtle. You fear not being enough, so you overperform. You fear being disliked, so you dilute your words. You fear standing alone, so you betray yourself just to belong. Every move, every breath, every dream bent around the fear of disapproval. And that is where the transformation begins. Not with confidence, with demolition, with the slow, brutal dismantling of everything within you that begs for permission. You must starve the fear, dissect it until it dies screaming for mercy you no longer believe in. You cannot overcome fear politely. You must smother it like a mutiny in the dark. Meditation, affirmations, these are not cures. They are sedation. Machiavelli knew. He did not tame fear. He dismembered it. He extracted its teeth and replaced them with silence. Because fear is not an enemy. It is a lever. And until you hold it, someone else does. Ask yourself, what are you truly afraid of? Strip it of disguise. Is it poverty or the shame of it? Is it rejection or the image of yourself cracked and exposed? Most fear is ego with a mask. And when you realize that, fear becomes manageable. Because ego, unlike reality, can be starved. It can be unlearned. Stop chasing approval like it's oxygen. Let them misunderstand you. Let them mock. Let them gossip in circles you've long outgrown. Their comfort is their prison. Yours is solitude. The more you detach, the clearer it becomes. You were never afraid of pain. You were afraid of looking weak while in pain. You were never afraid of failure. You were afraid someone would see you fall. Power begins the moment you no longer flinch. Not because you are strong, but because you are done asking for strength. Instead, you build discomfort into your bloodstream. You seek out confrontation like iron sharpening iron. You say the thing you are afraid to say. You stand where you're told to sit. You reject what the crowd worships, and in doing so, you gain something rarer than strength: clarity. Clarity is what tells you when to strike, and more importantly, when to disappear. Because distance is not weakness, it is insulation from noise, from manipulation, from the contagious fear of the herd. Machiavelli did not warn against enemies. He warned against the comfort of too many allies. When you fear nothing, you see everything. You see how others twitch under pressure. You notice how silence makes them confess. how ambiguity makes them panic. And this is where fear becomes not just absent in you, but active in others. A tool? A scalpel? You inject uncertainty and they obey. You imply threat and they retreat. You say nothing and the silence screams. They fear what they cannot read, so become unreadable. Smile without warmth. Move without noise. Speak rarely, and when you do, let it weigh on them for days. Let your presence disturb their comfort. Let your absence raise questions they can't answer. Predictability is weakness. You must be a question that haunts. Eventually, someone will test the silence. They always do. When that moment comes, respond not with anger, but with precision. Remove them completely, publicly, not to punish, but to remind. Mercy, when misplaced, is a lie told by fear. And you no longer lie. Fearlessness demands discipline. You do not strike out of impulse. You do not threaten. You do not bark. You act, and you act with such clarity that even your silence becomes a storm. When people speak your name, they do so with lowered eyes because they know there is no second chance, no appeal, no crack in your armor. This is not cruelty. This is necessity. The weak will never understand, and that is fine. They were never meant to walk beside you. Let them drown in their applause. Let them feast on each other's approval. You build alone. You conquer in silence. You rise not with cheers, but with echoes of those who dared to doubt. And that rise will be lonely. The fearless path always is. Friends become liabilities. Lovers become distractions. Most will not understand why you chose distance, but in truth, you didn't choose it. It was the cost, the toll you pay to see clearly. Because in solitude, you begin to notice. It's not fear that binds people together. It's the fear of being without each other. They gossip because they fear irrelevance. They conform because they fear being alone. But you have learned to walk alone. And that is why you are feared. Not because you harm others, but because you no longer need them. You stop playing their games. You stop asking for forgiveness for your ambition. You stop shrinking to fit their expectations. You move like a storm no one predicted, and when they try to study you, they see only shadows. Because by then, you are no longer reacting to fear. You are crafting it, not with violence, with control, with the terrifying calm of a man who has burned everything inside him that once trembled. The one who stands still while others run, who chooses silence over defense, who ends things without warning. You become the very thing they fear, not because you are monstrous, but because you are no longer moved by their fears. You wield them, and with every glance, every still movement, every unreadable silence, you remind them, fear is the air they breathe, but not you. You are the absence of fear, the void, the silence, the reckoning.